Hello, this is Jeff Neville for Selective Imagery. Welcome to Gator Attack Plus. Yeah, I know, you're thinking, oh, this is just clickbait. Well, yes and no. Once in a while you get a gator that decides it's just going to eat and eat and eat, and on this day we had a gator eat 4 flounder and a mullet, and another one ate a baby bird, unfortunately. So we're going to take you on that journey. And although this video is rated for adults only, if you have a young child watching this, I suggest that you think twice. There may be some scenes of the gators eating these food items that may be disturbing for young children and maybe even some adults. So take that into consideration when watching this video. This morning starts out with a gator my friend and I have kind of nicknamed Fred for one reason or another. But we were like 100 yards away, and I could see the wake in the water in the pond, wondering what was causing it. And looking through my 500 PF on my Z9, eventually I figured out it was gator. So we thought we should check it out. And this is normal speed for the video here. I didn't slow it down. Fred was really hauling you know what. He was moving and looking around, and we just said, well, Fred's up to something. He's hunting, he's hungry, something's going on, and shortly you're going to see what that was. But to make a long story short, Fred ended up going on a little bit of a rampage and eating a mullet plus 4 flounder. Now, I didn't film every event, but I have enough to keep you interested, hopefully. And I figure when we were talking, we were figuring Fred's probably around 11 or 12 feet long, and he or she, hopefully it's a he, because we did name the gator Fred. I didn't get a chance to hop on his back with a tape measure and measure him, but we're guessing around 12 feet. But he's the largest one in the pond, no doubt about it. There were some that were much bigger than him that either got culled out or removed and transplanted somewhere else over the years, but he's the biggest one right now, which is small by Florida standards. Those are all a lot bigger gators in Florida. Here you can see he went for what appeared to be a flounder. And it's hard to tell whether he actually has it in his mouth or not. It's questionable, I'm not 100% sure if he just has it in his mouth, which very well may be the case, and swimming off with it. Here we go with a series of still images. And I'll tell you, it doesn't get much better than this. Now, typically the gators will go right up to the shore, and the flounder are hidden in the reeds against the bank of the shore. And they will poke their nose in there and, sit and wait, and eventually they'll grab one and drag it out. So these are pretty close. I mean, I do have the 500 PF, but I'm not really that far away. And I'm shooting through the reeds. It's the only angle that I could get to get pictures of them. And you can see that the flounder are really, really big in this pond. I mean, I'd love to have one of those for dinner myself. Now, in this instance, I'm standing on some larger rocks, leaning over, looking down the embankment, in some cases barely fitting the gator in my frame because I do have the 500. Wish I had the 1:4 on it for these, but I couldn't back up any further. I wouldn't have been able to even get the gator in the viewfinder, so this was the best I can do with what I had. Now eventually Fred goes off to this little island, little mound of grass. Lots of times there happen to be some small bird nests in there right now, and we'll talk about that a little bit, but they didn't appreciate Fred getting a flounder right on the edge there and starting to munch on it. It really disturbed the small birds. They were flying around a lot. They were actually dive bombing Fred a little bit, like, you know, like they're going to hurt a gator. Not likely, but they were red-winged blackbirds for the most part, but even some of the small sparrows joined in to try to help out of concern for the young that were in that tall grass. Now the problem here, you would think, oh, that gator, you know, a couple munch, swallow it down. Well, that's not how it works. I mean, this flounder is actually wider than the width of the jaw from this gator. And so, I mean, the fish has probably been dead for a while. I mean, in some of those other pictures, you could see the teeth had perforated through the flesh of the fish, so the fish is probably long gone. Here I say the fish is getting a back massage and saying, can I come back tomorrow and get another one? This was the result of that gator going for that flounder. A small bird flew off, fell in the water, couldn't fly out of the water, and another gator swooped in and got it and ate it. So here's some pictures of that gator, unfortunately munching down on that baby bird. As sad as it is to see, I mean, that is nature. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, there you can almost see the whole bird. I think you can see the head and everything. And then eventually, you know, it swallows it, it's gone, it's done, it had its meal. Now we're going to move on to some other things we saw other than alligators. The day actually started off with this yellow-crowned night heron, which was in a little strip of land. It was really neat. And then we got some skimmers. Now, all these pictures this day, I had put the Nikon Z9 Firmware 2.10 in the camera. And, you know, I don't know that Nikon could say they now have Gator autofocus. Maybe I can get them to sell that one. But it performed really, really well tracking and following these skimmers. And I don't need to tell anybody that knows anything about birds that skimmers move pretty darn fast. Then we got this great egret in flight. And we did have spoonbills that day, but I've had a lot of spoonbill pictures, so I didn't want to throw too many in this video clip. And then we did have the great egret. Here it got a fish. And then a different egret, you know, got what looks like a very small eel. And I'll tell you, this it had trouble with this. And I was taking pictures of this, filming this or taking pictures of this in between trying to keep an eye on all the gator activity. But I did get it swallowing at the end. Here it's still, you think it's swallowed and it's not. You know, you can see it wrapping around the top of the beak, and I mean, those eels put up a fight. They don't give up easy. Now eventually, you know that the egret's going to win the battle, and it does. But that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And I just want to comment, we did have a death in the community from a human getting attacked by a gator recently that made the news. And that's not what we want to be known for. That's very rare down here, and it's usually because someone got too close to the water, which was the case in this instance as well. So be safe when you're down here, and when you see a sign that says water may contain alligators, it's not a may, it usually does. So stay away from the edge, keep your pets away from the edge, and be safe. Take care until next time. Enjoy life, capture some of it.